Hello, my name is Dylan Johnson, and I'm going to be going over storage devices today. Our agenda for today is to go over the similarities of Linux and Windows, the differences of Linux and Windows, the best operating system for running a server, some storage solutions, and ethical considerations for storage devices. So, some of the similarities between Windows and Linux is they don't have a lot of similarities, but when you boot up your system, they both use MBR or a master block record to boot the OS and then verify if the disk is partitioned or not. And then when it comes to the hierarchy of folders, they follow the same kind of order. Windows has a file allocation table for the file system which determines which is in the top directory. Linux uses a super block and makes multiple copies of it physically on the drive. This can lead to memory problems and store overcrowded of your storage, but it can protect you from partial disk corruption. If you use multiple drives in Windows, you have to navigate through different drives to find your file. So if you have a C drive, which is your boot drive usually, that is your main drive that your computer uses. Unless you have additional storage devices like a hard disk drive or a solid state drive. You can also have things like MCIe or anything like that. Linux, all the files fall under the /, and you can usually find one of your files under it. They also offer such things, so it comes in real handy to look for your file under the / instead of just wondering if it's in the C drive or the D drive. Windows runs the executable file to format a disk, whereas Linux uses the MKFS or the Mate file system in various forms to format the disk. When it comes to running a server, if you're using Linux with the add-on SUSE, you can have this is the best option because you have it gives the same server benefits that you get with Windows. And when Windows comes out with a new server, the old server soon reaches the end of life cycle and it needs to be upgraded to a new one. This can cause problems and you have to update all your servers to the brand new server. And also thing that Linux has that Windows doesn't, it does not collect user data. So that's a secret option. It is open source, so you can view the source code and modify it to match your needs. I recommend having someone that is familiar with source codes and to do this because it is not user friendly at all. It does not use up as much RAM as Windows does, so the speeds that it uses to navigate files and all that is a lot faster. And if you are currently an admin on Windows and your workstation gets hacked, then the whole server has the capability of being hacked. Whereas with Linux does not allow you full control over the system. So if you get hacked, they can't upgrade their attack and take over your server. So only your workstation will be hacked. When it comes to storage solutions, you want to look at I pull up cloud storage and network attached storage. They're very similar because it involves a network. However, cloud storage is more affordable, more flexible, scalable, and you pay for what you use, and you use less electricity. However, you have to be connected to the internet in order to have access to it, which makes it have a high bandwidth requirement. Whereas network attached storage, it connects to the company's network, so it's only intranet and not the internet. So if you're on the internet, you can look at files that are, and you don't have to be connected to the outside of your company. It makes all the data accessible to people that have access to the network, and if they have the right permissions and privileges to view that kind of data. And it uses RAID configuration. So RAID configuration does have some issues, and that's where cloud storage comes into and becomes more reliable, because you don't have to worry about RAID problems happening. Cloud storage, you pay for what you use, but network attached storage, it has the disadvantage of, if you run out of storage on it, you have to shell out another $500 to $1,000 depending on what you're looking for to increase your storage capabilities. Whereas cloud storage, you pay for what you use. So if you go over, you only have to upgrade to the next one. You don't have to. So it'd be like $15 a month instead of paying $500 for a hard drive that could be full in like a couple months. When it comes to cost considerations, you should not go always with the cheapest option, because it's not the lower cost does not always equal better in the long run. You should look at all the choices and then narrow it down to 2 or 3 and then make a cost reward analysis. If you Philippians 2:4 says, "Let each of you look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others." So when it comes to ethical decisions, you don't want to look at what is best for yourself and what can save you money. You want to look what is best for our clients. So if you look at the graph below, if we start at $10,000 and we had a choice between a cheap option and a more expensive option to buy a storage device, we could spend $1,000 on the cheap option or $2,000 on a more expensive option. 1 month later, our profits show $1,050, so we go up in money. However, let's say there was a hack in the future, and it's a 0-day vulnerability. The more expensive option is more secured, and we won't get hacked as much as we would with the cheap option that probably has reached its end of life cycle, so it's not getting any more updates for it. Where the more expensive option is still in its cycle and is probably still getting updates, so we can protect our clients better. And by protecting our clients, they are more willing to stay with us. But if we lose our clients' PII, they may leave us and find someone else better to do business with, which will result in a huge crash in monthly income, as you see on the chart in front of you. And thank you. My name has been Dylan, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you today.